Chapter 6. Who is a Gnani Purush? The definition of a saint and a Gnani Purush.
What is the difference between those who have become saints and the Gnani Purush?
A Sant Purush is someone who teaches people to do good deeds and stop doing bad deeds. A Sant Purush saves you from bad deeds, but a Gnani Purush saves you from both the good and the bad deeds. The Sant Purush leads you towards the right path, whereas a Gnani Purush liberates you. A Gnani Purush is the final destination and he gets your work done. Who is a true Gnani Purush? He is the one who is without ego or attachment. The one who has the complete experience of the self is called a Gnani Purush. He can give a description of the whole universe. He can give you answers to all questions. The Gnani Purush is truly a wonder of the world. The Gnani Purush is the manifest soul.
Recognizing a Gnani Purush.
How do you recognize a Gnani Purush?
The Gnani Purush cannot remain hidden. His fragrance and aura are quite unmistakable. His ambience is quite unique. His speech is extraordinary. You can recognize him through his words. You can tell by just looking into his eyes. The Gnani Purush has so many signs of indisputable proof, and each and every word of the Gnani Purush is in the form of a scripture. His speech, action, and humility are so beautiful that they will win you over. So the Gnani Purush has very many attributes. The Gnani Purush is abudh, without use of any intellect. The knower of the soul is full of bliss and does not experience any internal or external suffering. Therefore, we can attain salvation over there. He who is realized can help others attain realization. He who has attained liberation can help attain liberation of hundreds and thousands of people. What has Srimad Rajchandra, Gnani Purush, 1867 to 1901, said about a Gnani Purush? The Gnani Purush is the one who does not have even the slightest inclination, spruha. He has no beggary of any kind. He has no beggary for giving spiritual discourse, updesh. He has no beggary for disciples. He has no beggary to change anyone for the better. He has no doership or wallowing in worldly pleasures, garva or garavta, no I-ness, potapanu.
Chapter 7. Gnani Purush A.M. Patel, Dada Shri.
Dada Bhagwan is the one who is manifested within me. He is also within you, but he is not yet manifested. Here within me, he is completely manifested. The manifest can give you spiritual results. Just by saying his name once, you will benefit. When you say his name with the right understanding, you will benefit greatly. Worldly obstructions or difficulties will be removed. What you see here is not Dada Bhagwan. You might think that the person in front of you is Dada Bhagwan. No. What you see is a Patel from Bhadran, a village in India. I am a Gnani Purush, and he that is manifested within is Dada Bhagwan. I myself am not a Bhagwan. I too bow down to Dada Bhagwan within me. Dada Bhagwan and I are separate, and we share a neighborly relationship with one another. People think this body of mine is Dada Bhagwan. No. How can this Patel of Bhadran become Dada Bhagwan? This is a Patel from Bhadran. After attaining this Gnan, to follow Dada's Agnyas does not mean that you are following A.M. Patel's Agnyas. These are Agnyas of the Lord of the 14 worlds, Dada Bhagwan. I am guaranteeing this. Yes, they are coming to you through my medium. These are not my Agnyas. These are the Agnyas of Dada Bhagwan. I myself stay within this Agnyas.
Chapter 8. Kramik Path, Akram Path.
There are two paths to liberation, moksha. One is the Kramik path, step-by-step path to self-realization, and the other is Akram path, stepless path to self-realization. Kramik means you have to climb up step by step. You would attain liberation as your acquisitiveness, parigraha, gets diminished, and that too after an extremely long time. What is this Akram path? It is where you are not required to climb any steps. It is a lift, elevator path, where you can continue with all your daily mundane activities, fulfill all your worldly responsibilities towards your wife and children, and still achieve liberation. Nothing will hinder your progress towards liberation. This is an exceptional path, and one which comes around once every million years. One only needs to find this elevator, and one's salvation will be at hand. I am simply an instrumental, nimit, in showing you this path, or pointing you in the right direction. Anyone that boards the elevator will have all the answers. Surely one must find the answers. After entering this elevator, how does one know that one is heading for liberation? Moksha. Your assurance is that your anger, pride, deceit and greed, krodh, man, maya, lobh will go away. The internal suffering will go away. You will no longer experience adverse internal meditation that hurts the self, artha dhyan, or adverse internal meditation that hurts the self and others, raudra dhyan. This will be your confirmation. Then this task is completed, is it not?
Akram path makes one experience the self very easily.
In the Kramik path, it is only after one makes so much effort that he will begin to have an idea about the self, and that is even very faint. However, he will never attain the awareness, laksh of the self. He will have to keep the self in his awareness. Whereas in the path of Akram Vignan, the self becomes your experience. You have a direct experience, anubhav of the self. Even during a stroke and paralyzed state, when the bliss does not vanish, then it is called experience of the self. During intense hunger within, a severe headache, or a severe external difficulties, when inner bliss, shata, prevails, then that is the experience of the self. Experience of the self, atma anubhav, can turn even pain into pleasure, and one with the wrong belief, mithyatvi, will see pain even in pleasant circumstances. It is because of Akram Vignan that the state with the right belief, I am pure soul, samkit, is attained in such a short time. This is a science, Vignan of a very high level. It draws an exact line of demarcation between the self, Atma, and the non-self, Anatma. I put this line of demarcation that this is your part and that is not your part within just 1 hour. If you struggle to do this yourself, you will not accomplish it in 1,000,000 lives.
The one who meets me is qualified for Akram Vignan.
For this simple path, do we not need to have any qualifications?
Some people ask me, am I qualified to receive this Akram Gnan? I tell them, your meeting me is your qualification. This meeting is due to scientific circumstantial evidence. Therefore, anyone that meets me is qualified. Those who do not meet me are not qualified. What is the reason behind you meeting me? It is because of your qualification that this meeting takes place. However, after having met me, if one does not attain self-realization, then it is because one's obstructive karma prevents one from progressing further.
In Kram, you have to do, while in Akram, you...
I was asked by an individual to explain the difference between the Kramik, step-by-step path to self-realization, and the Akram, stepless path to self-realization paths. I told them that in the Kramik path, one is asked to stop doing bad deeds and do good deeds. One is essentially told to do something in the Kramik path. You are told to get rid of your weaknesses of deceit and greed and to turn toward good things. Is that not what you have come across so far? Akram, on the other hand, means you do not have to do anything. Nothing has to be done. Akram Vignan, the spiritual science of the stepless path to self-realization, is a wonder. After receiving this Gnan, self-knowledge, one feels a significant change immediately. Upon hearing this experience, people are attracted to this path. In Akram, the main change starts internally. In the Kramic path, purity cannot even happen internally. The reason being, one does not have the capacity. There is no such machinery, and that is why they have resorted to the external method. But when will that external method reach the internal? It will reach the inside when there is unity of mind, speech, body. The main thing is that there is no longer unity of mind, speech, body.
Akram manifested as an exceptional path due to lack of unity in thought, speech, action.
The world has discovered a path of progressing towards liberation, moksha, one step at a time. But it is only good as long as one says and does exactly what is in his mind. It will continue working until then. Otherwise, that path will come to an end. In this era of the current time cycle, such unity of mind, speech, body is broken. And that is why the Kramic path is fractured. That is why I say that it is because the foundation of the Kramic path has become decayed that Akram has arisen. Everything is allowed here, as you are, the way you are. Here, now that you have met me, sit here. So we do not bother with what happens externally at all.
Attainment through the grace of the Gnani Purush.
The Akram path that you have exposed is fine for a Gnani Purush like you. It is easy for you. However, it is difficult for us ordinary people living a worldly life and working. So what is the solution for it?
The Lord of 14 worlds has manifested within a Gnani Purush. What can you not achieve when you meet such a Gnani Purush? You do not have to do anything with your energy, Shakti. It will all happen through His grace. Grace accomplishes everything. Therefore, whatever you ask here will be accomplished. All you have to do is to remain in the Gnani's Agnyas, special directives given by Dada Shri after self-realization in Gnan Vidhi. This is Akram Vignan. Therefore, you have to extract your work directly from a living God, and that awareness remains every moment, not just for 1 or 2 hours.
So He will do everything for us if we surrender our all to Him. Is that so?
He will do everything. You do not have to do anything. You bind karma by doing. You simply have to sit in the lift, the elevator, and practice the 5 Agnyas. You should not jump around or stick your hand out of that lift. That is all you have to do. Rarely does such a path come along, and it is only meant for those with tremendous merit karma, Punyashalis. It is considered the 11th wonder of the world. Anyone who attains a ticket for this exceptional path, his work is done.
The Akram path continues.
My intent is only this. May you attain the bliss that I have attained. Such a magnificent Vignan that is manifested is not going to be buried without its full purpose coming into reality. I will leave behind me a generation of Gnanis. I will leave behind my hair, and thereafter the link of Gnanis will continue. So look for a living Gnani Purush. There can be no solution without one. I am personally going to impart my special spiritual powers, siddhis, to some people. After I leave, will there not be a need for them? People of future generations will need this path, will they not?